Hi, welcome to the Comics Panel. Today we're going to talk about cosplay. Today we're here with Sailor V and King Saris, and we're going to talk a little bit about cosplay. Kind of whatever you guys want to talk about because you're into it, and it's really cool. So, we'll start with King Saris.
Okay. Man.
Well, how long have you been doing cosplay?
How long have I been doing this? Okay, well, that's actually a really interesting question to ask me because I got into it, like, back in high school, which for me was in the late 90s, early 2000s. And back then, the scene was very different. Amazon still sold books. Like, you couldn't order basically anything on the internet. Really great wigs like this one didn't exist. If you needed a wig, you went to Party City and you bought the cheap junk that they sell there.
You waited till Halloween.
Right, you waited till Halloween so you could get a wig. And then you hoarded them in your bedroom. Made your mom wonder what you were doing in your free time. And I didn't learn how to sew until 2013. So then,
because of cosplay.
Because of cosplay, yeah.
Cool.
And then I've learned a lot of interesting skills because of cosplay.
How glue gun works.
How a glue gun works, and like how to use it for things that aren't just gluing two things together, and like
how to treat glue gun burns.
Yeah, how to treat glue gun burns. Yeah. Hot glue kisses. Mm-hmm. Then I stopped for a little while, and around 2013, I kind of had a cosplay renaissance. I actually do a lot of pen and paper D&D role-playing, and I actually write that sort of thing professionally. That's one of the things I do for money. And I had gotten a job where I was both promoting material in a costume and also writing for this product. And in that process of doing that, I got paid to go to a convention, I got paid to do promotional material, I had a professionally made costume, I had professionally done makeup, and I met about a half dozen really tremendous other costumers and cosplayers, and they really revitalized my creative energy and made me want to go from like, well, I'll just cut apart this clothing I got at a thrift store and like buy a Party City wig to like I really wanted to do something.
Spend a lot more
time on it and invest in the craftsmanship and then learn how to do all sorts of more involved, in-depth things. So I kind of had a cosplay renaissance like 4 years ago.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's when I started doing it really seriously.
Excellent. Yeah. Sailor V.
I've been doing this for a year, thanks to King Saris. I think anybody who is a fan of comic books, any kind of media culture, like we're all into, because you're watching the show, so you must be into comics at least a little bit. Everybody has always wanted to dress up as a superhero, even for Halloween, and this lets you do it all year round instead of waiting for October 31st. And it's something that you've always wanted to do. You go out, you do it. The cosplay culture, I like I said, I've only been doing this for a year, so I'm pretty new, but it seems like it's a very enthusiastic place to be with people who share similar interests. And I have always wanted to be Sailor V, so I have 0 sewing skills, so my costume is actually one that I purchased. And then a lot of people then do modifications to their costumes to make it a little bit their own. Like I did my shoes, which can't really see. There we go. Did your shoes, which I started off thanks to King Saris over here, finding out that community aid is a great place to start if you want to do cosplay things. So I found a pair of tap shoes for $3, and I got a can of Rust-Oleum. And now I have superhero shoes. So I fight evil in heels.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool stuff like that. But I have gotten to the point where I wanted to do more personalized things. So I bought my first sewing machine a few months ago.
Getting into it.
Investing. Into it. It is an incredibly fun hobby. It is not a cheap hobby.
No, it's not a cheap hobby.
It is not a cheap hobby, but the more you get into it, the more you love it. So,
That's cool. Yeah, I've seen working conventions and stuff as a comic book dealer type of thing, doing tables and just going to conventions. I've seen it change a lot. When you said about a community, I think the internet has really helped a lot because, I mean, in the mid 80s and stuff, you would see somebody dressed up as something, but it'd be pretty generic, you know, one or two pieces that they spent some time on. But now I see costumes that are just, it blows me away sometimes. I mean, really, really something that could really come out of Hollywood or something that, you know. And I'm totally impressed. I'm always impressed when I ask them, you know, did you make that, or what did you make? What did you buy? And sometimes I'm just like amazed at what they say they made out of. It's like, really, you made it out of that? You know, that's pretty cool, pretty creative and pretty ingenious. So I've seen it change a lot, and it's a lot. You know, it's a lot more people are into it now. They have a lot more contests and things, and some are really good, and some just, you know, get an A for effort.
I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
one of the things I think that really facilitated the spread of craftsmanship is YouTube.
Oh yeah, when you can see what other people do.
Yeah, and lots of people out there put out, like, here are the sewing techniques you need to make, like, these clean lines on your jacket, or here is how I made this shield out of cardboard I found out in the back outside of work, glue and tape, and, like, paint you can buy at Walmart for $1, or here's how you can shape flooring mats, like foam flooring mats, into armor. Whenever I don't know how to do something, usually my first trip is to Google it or to go to YouTube, because I can reliably find someone's video or step-by-step instructions for how to do anything you can think of. And before YouTube, you either had to ask somebody or, like, have prior knowledge of that.
Yeah.
And it's not that the tools we have now weren't available 10 years ago, because heat guns exist and they're meant for stripping paint, but who would have thought to take that and then take flooring mats, which also are not a new invention, and then, like, use it to warm it up and shape it around a bowl to make a pauldron. Like, somebody had to come up with that idea, and in the past, they couldn't have shared that with 1 million people.
Yeah, that's cool. Alrighty. Anything else about cosplay you guys want to talk about real quick?
If you want to get into it, do it. You know, there's only so much time you're going to be on this world, and if you want to be Batman, you be Batman.
And it doesn't matter how many Batmans there are.
It doesn't matter, because there will be other Batmans
There's
at the
lots
convention.
of different versions of Batman.
But you are putting your own artistic stamp on it, and you go. If you want to be Deadpool, you go be Deadpool. And everybody, there's so many fun Deadpool stories at conventions. I think almost everybody gets a Deadpool story.
I have a great Deadpool story.
Oh, yeah.
I was hosting a Sailor Moon photo meetup at MegaCon in Orlando, which is actually a big comic presence there. It's one of my favorite conventions to go to, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to go this year. But we had a huge group of Sailor Moon cosplayers, and we were in this, like, big open hallway, and there's, like, I don't know, 60 of us, and the photographers had all gone up to the second floor balcony, and we're taking pictures down to get an aerial view of this whole group. So here's this Sailor Moon group all, like, you know, posing, and these photographers are up there taking pictures of us, and then this conga line of 15 Deadpools, like, they were all different Deadpools. They were, like, Deadpool cosplaying as somebody else, and, like, they had a boombox, and it was playing some, like, really loud dance song, and they came running over into our photo shoot, and, like, all got in the picture.
They Deadpool bombed it.
They Deadpool bombed it, and then we just let them stay there for, like, a count of 3 before being like, go, get out, go. Shoo. Go bother somebody else.
That's cool. So being in costume lets you let out a little bit, do little things like the character, you know? Especially, I guess, if you have a mask on. No, that wasn't me. I wasn't that Deadpool.
But it's funny because if you are cosplaying long enough, people, even if there's like 15 Sailor V's, which there aren't usually, but even if there's 15 Sailor V's, everybody puts their own spin on it or their own, like I said, their artistic print, and you can still tell who people are even with the mask.
Or from what series too, probably.
Yeah, or from what series. Yeah, you know, and it's just fun. It's just so fun seeing people who love something so much that they're willing to get up, get into a wig, get into spandex, get into whatever, spend 3 hours doing hair and makeup to go be that kind of a fan who's so enthusiastic about something that they love so much.
And go out and have some fun.
And go out and have some fun, and it's infectious. My little sister one year we went to Philadelphia, we went to Wizard World East, and she went as a video game character from BioShock, and we were in the convention, you know, people were kind of milling around. She ended up posing next to some people who were cosplaying something from Assassin's Creed. And as soon as she left the convention, because we were hungry, so we were going to head over to the Reading Terminal Market, we didn't even cross the street. She got bombarded by people who were clearly not going to the convention, because they were all just in, like, normal people clothes, I'm just going to say. Normal people. Civvies. They were in their civvies. And there was literally a line, it was like 3 or 4 people deep, getting my little sister to pose, because I think she was one of the little sisters from BioShock, and she had like the gore-covered dress and like the weird bunny mask and stuff like that. So it's
not the little sister, but I don't remember what they are.
Something bunny mask. Leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know.
The internet will tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah, internet, please tell us who she was dressing up as. And, you know, so even if you're not going to a convention, people can still appreciate what you're trying to do, and they just get excited about it. Because how often are you going to see people from video games or movies or comics, you know, walking down the street? You know,
there's been a really interesting shift, speaking of the public, because you can play bingo with what will happen to me at a convention, and like the free space ought to just be someone asks Monica what's going on. Yeah. Every convention, somebody stops me and is like, what's going on? Every convention since I have been going to conventions.
Why are you people dressed up?
Stop.
Like, I see everybody in costume. What's going on? That question is invariably directed at me.
Free space.
Free space, yeah.
Free space.
Possibly because I'm really tall, and people are like, she looks like she has authority. Let's go ask her. And when I was younger, like, I'd be like, oh, it's an anime con, and people would be like,
what's anime?
What's anime? And then I'd be like, Japanese cartoon? No, okay, yeah, all right. But with things like The Big Bang Theory, and like NPR did an article on MegaCon once, and like the idea of conventions becoming mainstream. Now when people come up to me and are like, why is everybody all dressed up? What's going on? My answer is, it's Comic-Con. It doesn't matter if it's an anime con or a pop culture con or a sci-fi con or whatever I'm at. But my answer is, it's Comic-Con. And invariably, the public response goes from, huh? To Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
That is, have fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great time. Even like, there has never been a point at which I have not said to someone, it's Comic-Con, and they haven't gone, yay! Yeah. So like, but that has been a change that I've seen in the general public as of the last 2 or 3 years, which I find interesting, but really helpful. Like, in shorthand, it doesn't matter what I'm dressed up as or what I'm actually going to participate in. That's my answer, and that people accept it no matter what.
Yeah, they know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Have you ever had negative reactions?
No. I mean, I've gotten lots of weird looks. Like, people give you weird looks because you're wearing spandex in the middle of the street in July in Baltimore. But like, and like there's been a lot more of random passersby like whipping out their phones just to take a picture and stuff like that. But like, no one, it may just be me, because I know other people may have different stories, but like, no one's ever really been rude or nasty.
Yeah, I don't
me-
really. Yeah, I mean, I've never really seen that a lot of times because I'm only. Well, I mean, at the conventions and stuff, I'm usually busy, but I'm always working hard, and and you know, I mean, it seems to be a real positive thing, you know, for most people anyway. But I don't know what goes on in the parking lots and stuff, you know, or
I've
getting
never-
to the con if you stop for something to eat. Or
Yeah.
something like that, and you're already in costume
It's
or whatever.
mostly, I would just say it's mostly just people kind of look at you funny.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're wearing and how weird you look.
Well, yeah.
Because this, like, I'm clearly dressed as a fantasy character, but I'm not, it's not outlandish.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have pink hair, I'm not half naked, I'm not wearing big, heavy armor. Like, this is supposed to look armor-like.
Yeah.
But, like, it's a natural-looking costume. And it's usually when I have a natural-looking costume that somebody goes, so what's going on here?
This one looks safe to talk to.
Yeah. But I have done Yellow Diamond, who is a villain from the kids' cartoon Steven Universe. In that costume, I am wearing 4-inch heels. I am covered in, like, yellow armor from the neck down. My face is painted yellow. I have big, angry yellow contacts in. I wear a giant gold helmet. Like, I am towering and impressive, and people are usually like, we're just gonna let her go.
She can just go
She can
right
just
in.
go. That is not the costume. People are like, what's going on? What's going on here? So, yeah, that's a costume people are like, where's she going? Wherever she's going, I don't want to be there. That's terrifying.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky too. I think the worst I ever got was somebody thought I was a Pokemon.
In
Which-
that outfit?
Yep. I
Well, it's
said,
just confusion there.
I said, well, no, but Pokemon come from the same
It's a
place.
little bit. Yeah, it's pretty
they're like-
close.
Okay.
At least they didn't say Wonder Woman or something everybody should know is not.
Well, yeah, I mean, and
If you had dark hair, I could see a weird Wonder Woman. Like, if your wig was black, I could see somebody being like, are you Wonder Woman? Because you've got gold, you've got red, you've got white.
Yeah.
Like, the color scheme is there, and you could be like a 50s Wonder Woman or something like that. I could see that. Like, I could see
Something.
why someone would come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Not that it's anything resembling accurate. I could see why someone would come to that conclusion, but
yeah,
but
no,
you're blonde.
Yeah, super blonde, super blonde. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, you know what? And you know, they were 9, so
Oh,
that's-
okay, it was a kid.
yeah, it was a kid. So I'm like, yeah, close.
Yeah, that's
sure.
me.
Yeah.
Well, like, you know, I do Sailor Galaxia, who is the villain from the last season of Sailor Moon, when that arc never came out in the United States. So it is a very obscure costume. And the Sailor Moon fans flip their lids for it. They love it, because they're, you know, hardcore serious Sailor Moon fans. But everybody else who has no clue who I am asks me the stupidest questions. like I've gotten the wrong anime entirely in a bunch of different cases. Anything they can think of that is gold and armored. I had somebody ask me if I was just like a Roman centurion, because it's like a breastplate and kind of like a Roman skirt, but it's like a metal golden skirt.
Yeah.
And like, I just got
And the bracers.
and the bracers, and I
Yeah.
can see the Roman thing because it's kind of got a Roman feel to it. But I'm like, I'm not Julius Caesar. I have red eyes. Like, I didn't realize he was a woman in armor.
Is it more comic book characters now as opposed to before, or less? You think?
I think there's a lot
or
more.
is it just across the board, depending on what con?
Well, it depends. On
It
what
depends
con.
upon the con. Yeah.
But, like, there are now DC and Marvel meetups at Otakon, which is a dedicated anime convention. Though their cosplay contest, at least the last time I entered it, forbade anything that wasn't Japanese. And that, like, I guess that's their rules. But Anime USA, which obviously also an anime con from the name, got rid of that rule for their cosplay contest. They were just like, if it's a geeky thing, we don't care.
Yeah.
Open it up to
Open
everybody.
it up to everybody. And I think that's probably, like, I don't see why you need to preserve the integrity of your convention.
No, because we're all fans. We're all here doing the same thing. We're all here being enthusiastic about a character that does not exist in real life. So
I mean, I understand the billing for it, like, the programming for a convention being focused on their topic. Like, an anime convention's gonna have panels and programming and vendors who sell anime stuff. Perfectly fine. But, like, don't put rules on what you can come dressed up
Yeah.
as.
yeah,
It is a contest.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's Otakon's prerogative to rule that out. I just think it's kind of silly.
Cool.
yeah. And some of the conventions had, like the last convention you were at, where you had a lot of I don't know how I want to phrase it, but you had a lot of things like Steven Universe, which is not an anime.
Are you talking about MagFest or Katsucon?
Probably
Because I was at both, and they were one right after the other.
they were.
They were.
They were.
Well,
Well,
if I could have
MagFest.
just stayed at the Gaylord for 2 weeks, I would have. But
Yeah, that would have been really.
I both
expensive.
don't have that kind of money or that kind of time off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, it must have been MagFest because a bunch of friends went, and they went as characters from the video game Undertale. So you
Yeah,
had groups.
and MagFest
going.
is the music and gaming festival, so it's about concerts and live music, and their programming is about video games. But they're like, it's a party. Come dressed however you want. Mm-hmm. And they don't do any official cosplay events. I mean, they had a fun walk-on contest, which I was in, as in this, because he's from a video game, so I figured that was
Good enough. yeah.
apropos. And the fun little walk-on contest was they had you walk on and you had to do something to like win the audience over. And so your entry was you had to do something cool and try to get cheers. And that was there was no craftsmanship involved. It was literally just for fun. And then they picked the people who got the most cheers to be like the top 16. And then they had them goofy off with each other. They made them
You
like
mean in character?
yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah. Then they had them
Like
come
what
up.
the character would do? Mm-hmm. Cool.
Then they had them come up and they pulled the random bracket out of a hat, and it was to be like Sailor V versus Lon'qu, and then they would be like strike a victory pose, and I would be like, and then they would collect who got cheered for more, and then the winner went on to the next round, and then it got progressively sillier.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to sit and watch.
Excellent.
And participate
Excellent.
Yeah, so if anybody's never been to a convention, please go. Please go. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to dress up. There's some conventions that I'm finding, though, that if you don't dress up, you're actually in the minority. But that's okay. That's okay. Like, the first time I went to Zenkai Con, I went in jeans and in my nerdy t-shirt, and I went, I'm underdressed. There were people who were in Gundam suits. Like, fully functional, light-up Gundam suits. I was like, oh, wow. And just for a little place like Lancaster, it's really, really, it was really impressive.
Yeah, I was like, when was there a robot suit at Zenkai Con? And then I was like, oh yeah, that was after I decided I was gonna bring a whole nother costume and then change like in the bathroom.
Yes. Yeah, so we were in it was in the lobby. And
No, I did it. I changed in Lainey's room.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We went up and I made a friend. And
Yes,
then it was
made a
like, hey,
friend.
can I use your room to get changed to put on this other costume?
So, yeah, but it's great for people watching. Last time I was at Otakon, there was a baby Groot, a guy dressed up as a baby Groot, so his costume
Sprout.
was... Sprout? Is that the official?
I don't know. That's what I call it.
But he had taken 2 hula hoops and sewn fabric around them so he could still kind of shuffle move. But he was like 8 or 9 feet tall, and actually he was hanging out at the Sailor Moon photo shoot in the background where there's like this gorgeous atrium and there are fountains. So he was hanging out by the water because baby
He's
Groot,
Groot,
I
yeah.
guess. And he would do his little Groot dance, and I don't know how he could see out of it, but if he'd catch you looking, he'd stop. So yeah, so
Probably
baby
looking
Groot,
out the belly button.
yeah, probably.
It wasn't even his face
It
up there.
was a ginormous costume, but you gotta appreciate the passion and energy and time that it takes to make
Some
a
are very impressive. Very impressive.
and especially if you know you are going to be in Baltimore in July inside a entirely sealed costume where it has to be like an oven. You gotta love what you're doing to be
Yeah.
able to do stuff like that. So
Commitment.
there is some serious commitment, but yeah, oh God, everybody should do it at least once.
I'm remarkably terrible at choosing an appropriate outfit for the weather.
Yes.
Yes. Like,
Yes.
infamously terrible among our group of friends for picking the wrong thing to wear at the wrong time of year. Like, I did super obscure costume. I did the protagonist from a Japanese game called Nocturne, and it's a male character, and he's covered in tattoos and is technically shirtless. So through the magic of makeup and tape and like
Chest binding.
magical secrets, like I had
That you find out online.
yeah,
That
yeah.
you learn
I
online,
had
yes.
like the full chest tattoos and was shirtless in January. And he wears like a little pair of capri pants and sneakers. And I decided to wear that to a winter convention. I've had better ideas.
Yeah. So plan ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then wearing something like this, which has layers in Florida in July. I have done dumb stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Well, you learn as you go along.
Yeah.
You do. You learn.
Alrighty. Okay, well, that's it for cosplay for right now. Like us on YouTube. And check us out.
Leave us comments in the box below.
Thanks. Yeah. Leave a comments in the box below. Tell us what you like about the episode, what you don't like about the episode. Thank you very much.